Welcome back to another episode of the One-on-One podcast. My name is Josh Katz. I am joined by, we'll start with Kathy today. I'm joined by Kathy Baker, as always, and Ryan Esteban, who's in the studio with me. Hi, guys. How are you today?
Great.
Still hot.
How are you, Ryan?
It's still hot. I mean, we went through like a heat wave here in California this past weekend, and it's first week of the NFL season. I went to the Chargers game in LA in the stadium, and it was literally almost 100 degrees inside. We didn't even stay the whole. Yeah, it's been crazy, but I think it's on the come down, right?
It's on the come down, and I'm ready for it. I think the 15-year-old Josh wants to kick my ass for saying that I never want summer to come again, but I'm just over it as I get older.
That happens.
Your face,
grow facial hair,
your face is ready for the winter.
I know. I decided to grow it out at the wrong time.
Can you smell smoke? How close you are?
So I saw it. I mean, if you guys are familiar with some of our team members like Nima and Savag, they live pretty close to it, and they were sending us pictures last night that are. Yeah. I mean, it's scary looking for sure. The office we're probably like 25 minutes from it.
Yeah, about 10, 15 miles away from.
Wow.
I could see it as I was driving in this morning. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully everyone's safe out there. Before we bring on our guest, I have a question that I've been wanting to ask you too, because Ryan and I are of the same generation, but I think we have different taste in content on certain things.
Sure.
I want to know, and we'll ask our guest the same question, Kathy and Ryan, what do you think is the greatest sitcom of all time?
Oh,
I heard this on another podcast. That's why it was a podcast with Ted Danson. So naturally they were discussing Cheers, which I think is a good one, but it's not my favorite.
I have several. As far as casting, to me, two of the most perfectly cast shows. One is Designing Women, and the other is Golden Girls.
Ooh, Golden Girls. That's a good one.
Those are good.
That's a good one.
I don't know, man. I think it is it's going to be like a generational thing no matter what, right? Like it's going to depend on kind of where you.
I mean, I think you know mine. It's my favorite show of all time.
Yes. I know yours.
Yeah.
I would, oh man, you'd probably not think this would be it for me, but I like Married with Children was mine, like growing up.
Such a sleeper.
And I think like it's easy to say like.
That's a good one.
I know. Well, again, how about you say yours?
I mean, mine, I think it's a lot of people's answers, but mine is Seinfeld. I've grown up with it. I worship that man, and I think I communicate through Seinfeld quotes more than the actual English language, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. I want to bring on our guest. We have a really cool episode for you guys. We have Carl Carter here, and Carl Carter is the founder of the Beverly Carter Foundation, and we are currently in REALTOR Safety Month, and this is a organization that Realty One Group has partnered with for a very long time. Carl, we all have great relationships with Carl. This guy's the man. He is so good to our company, and his foundation is just something that this industry needs. So Carl, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the Beverly Carter Foundation. Before we get into it, what is your favorite sitcom of all time?
Well, hi, guys. I'm honored to be here. And so I've got to ride in on Kathy's coattails because if an episode of The Golden Girls is on TV, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. But I think that's the right answer, right? If it's on TV, like you just stop everything that you're doing and
yeah. And Will and Grace. There's
that's a good one. That's a good one.
And I adore her.
Yep. And Megan Mullally. Oh man, she is she is great.
Gosh. I mean, and again, it goes back to casting. I mean, it goes back to that perfectly cast. And do you know Betty White was unscripted most of that show?
See, those are the things that I love to hear the most. Like it's just, I've heard like with a lot of these shows, and I know we really have to get into this episode, but sorry, I really asked a passionate question of mine, but it was basically like, if you could get whoever could get the cast and crew to laugh the hardest, that's what made it into the show. But let's do this. We'll maybe do a different episode where we don't talk about real estate whatsoever, which I would love. But Carl, thank you for joining us. We really want to get into obviously the Beverly Carter Foundation and also Realtor Safety Month. But maybe just give us a 30-second answer to how you created the Beverly Carter Foundation, what purpose it serves, and yeah, let's just start there.
All right. Well, brevity is not my strong suit, but here we go. This month, not only is it Realtor Safety Month, but it's also the anniversary month of my sweet mom, Realtor Beverly Carter's kidnapping and murder. This year is actually 10 years since that showing that we lost her. And I'll just tell you, among friends here, I mean, she was my very best friend, and it all played out very publicly, and the trial was very public, and partially because of that, and then also because this industry is so great and so many people outreach to offer words of condolences and support, and to be human is to relate. And so people would say, I'm so sorry about your mom. Here's my story.
Yeah.
And it just kept building until I felt such a responsibility to try to be a part of education, awareness, inspiration, whatever it takes to help people make smarter choices in their business. And so in 2017, founded this nonprofit. And although it serves a lot of folks that work alone or volunteer alone, traveling nurses, so forth, it primarily, of course, it was born out of this tragedy with my mom, and continues to serve this industry that we all love.
I think it's, I don't want to make, we've all lost people in our lives, and it's a matter of how you take, that's grief that's never going to go away. But I think you have found a way to honor your mom and also shed light on a real issue in this industry. And you're trying to, you've brought about a program that's trying to find a solution to it. And I just think that's huge. Would you agree, Kathy?
Oh, yeah. First of all, I want to say I've been trying to get this dear friend on this podcast since the beginning. So I'm incredibly honored for you to be our guest today. And just to say, not only do you serve, but you serve well. This is such a vulnerable industry as far as from a safety perspective, and the many, many things you are continuously doing. You haven't settled. And as a realtor, as someone, for you to be an advocate of the industry like this is just thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because I shared about 2 weeks ago the safety kit that the Beverly Carter Foundation puts out. And I have to tell you, I'm old, and I remember prior to this, which I remember this incredibly well. I mean, very much in my memory because it was public. And even though I was in North Carolina, we were very aware of it. But we had all kinds of things, Josh and Ryan, like we had systems where we had a green, red, and yellow folder that agents would hold up when they would leave with someone. If that green, I feel good, red, don't let me leave. So for it to evolve, this evolution for realtor safety is just incredible. So I very much appreciate that.
Thank you, my friend. I tell you, it's been at times a really hard road, right? Because just in the grief alone, and then, I mean, if you can imagine just the toll on one's mental health, revisiting this that happened to my sweet mom, and then also meeting so many people that have been victimized. I mean, it's been something I have certainly had to work through in therapy, and have a great friend group. And obviously, you guys are like family to me, and you guys have been a huge part of it.
Kathy, you brought up a point with just as we are in this world that is, ever more run by technology. There's good things and bad things to it. But Carl, can you maybe talk about like some of whether they're apps or programs or things that you guys encourage through the Beverly Carter Foundation that agents can maybe have on their phones, or processes they can go through just to, add some safety or some confidence, as they're doing these open houses?
Absolutely. So, first things first, I mean, we're all carrying around, these $1,000 computers in our pockets, and there are so many great features. I have an Apple, but even the lesser Androids of the world also have safety features.
God, I love that so much.
But by default, many of, whether it's the safety or information security, those are they're off. And so you truly have to go into your settings and enable those. Yeah. So I think starting with what you have is a great place. Thinking about how technology has changed since when my mom was taken, part of how this couple was able to deceive her was through the use of spoof numbers. And really in 2014, it's crazy to think about how we are so accustomed to spoof numbers now. We get a phone call and we're like, oh, that's, if it's not programmed in our phone, we just assume it's garbage, and it was, so just to see the way that we communicate and how different it's come. I'll say related to, just quickly for apps that I see used in the industry is, almost all of the home showing, whether that's the lockbox apps, HomeSnap, different ones, a lot of the MLS apps all have timers and location tracking, sharing. I am a huge fan of Forewarn. Mm-hmm. You guys are probably familiar with it. It's you do phone number lookups to, you can get background information on folks to help validate, that they are who they say they are. And then there's actually a new technology that's just come out, a new app called Tether RE, and they were at NAR's IOI pitch battle last week and won the whole thing, which kudos to them, because it's impressive technology for information sharing across the gamut. Not only from everything that you've done, your calendar, your client details, but it was exciting to me because it was like, there's all of this technology, that new emergent technology that was coming, before the National Association at this pitch, and safety won. It was seen valuable enough. And so, it's like, it just kind of get worked up over it, because it's like those that voted thought this is what our industry needs. And so there was that literal vote of confidence in the need to do this. So
that's huge. Yeah. For that to be ahead of everything else. But I have to say, without this foundation, I don't think that would have happened. Yeah. So I want you to be very proud of what you have done with this. And that's Tether RE. So that's coming along with Forewarn. And I have to say the other thing that just scares the bejeebies out of me, because I'm old. I'm old.
You're not that old, Kathy.
I know. But I look at a lot of things, and how do I say this? Ryan, you may have to edit this out, but I want realtors to be extremely careful, and this is not gender sensitive. I want realtors to be very careful what they put on social media. Yeah. Because there's vulnerability, and you just need to be careful that you're not setting yourself up as a target. And I see so much and I go, what in the hell are you thinking? Just stop that. So but the positive side of that we have now that we didn't have in 2014 is social groups. And I'm a member of a lot of closed office sites, and I love the fact that you have forewarned, but they're also forewarning each other. If you get a call from this person, this is suspicious. Be aware of this. This is what this is what they sound like. This is what they look at. They're using these names. And I just think we all have to just raise that level of awareness to be safe in this industry.
I completely agree. Carl, I know you guys, I wanted you to talk a little bit about the Beverly Carter, like the toolbox that you guys offer. Because I know that that's another, with all of these apps, it's another thing that is very important for realtors to have. And so can you maybe share a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So, that's the important part, when we're thinking about safety. And I think people get kind of sideways with, a specific class or a specific approach, because there isn't just one thing that's going to keep you safe.
Right.
I find myself just wildly frustrated by very well-intended people throughout the years have come up to me, and again, well-intended, very serious. And they say, Carl, so sorry what happened to your mom, but she would be alive today if she were carrying a gun.
Oh, geez.
And so it's like, you didn't know my mom. And she was like 4 foot tall, sweet, scaredy cat. This isn't the Wild Wild West. She knew nothing about a gun, and it would not have been, it's
also just so damn insensitive. I'm sorry that people I'm sorry. Anyways.
Oh, well, we could have a whole, some of them actually, they're so insensitive that it gets kind of comical. So we'll have to share stories sometime. Yeah. But one thing that I love, and we were able to do this because of Realty One Group, and that is the creation of our open house safety kits. And so it's a literal kit, the box, and they have things that that can help with, like, from a productivity, professionalism aspect of the open house, such as, there's some sign-in sheets and some a packet of cards, so that, while you're there, if it's a slow open house, you can sit and write thank you cards to people. And then there are more, there's some, kind of utility type things, like we all need a tape measure in this industry. But then there is also that component of varying safety items from kind of, it's probably the silliest thing in the box, but I love it the most. And it's that someone told me at a training one time, they're like, you know what? I always want to make sure I hear people come through that front door. So they had this, it's this dangling string of bells.
Smart.
And so, I mean, it makes quite the ruckus.
Yeah, no, it's smart.
And it's great. Every time someone comes in, it's like jingle bells. Yeah. And but so there are items like that in it, and it's just fun, and it can just stay in the trunk of your car. Yep. And you just get it out, for your open house. Yeah. So I love them. Love those.
I love that, Kathy. I think it's also something that what you just said, that safety was chosen as the number one priority for realtors across this industry. So I think it's something people are becoming more aware. It's becoming more of a priority. I think, to Kathy's point, the Beverly Carter Foundation has spearheaded this. So kudos to you, Carl, because this is you have probably saved a number of lives through what you have had to go through. And that's not an easy thing to do.
Thank you. Truly. Couldn't help myself. That's what I always say. What started as I had all of this grief and love for my mom. And that's kind of grown into just true love, care, concern for all the folks in our industry.
And I think it's also a love for the industry itself, right? You're also an agent. I think you grew up with your mom being an agent. So this is, I think it's definitely a passion for you. And we can see it, I hope for the people listening and watching, you get to one day, sit and chat with Carl, because he's a legend. He just brings an energy to whatever conversation you're in. And so we really appreciate it, Carl.
And Carl, we're going to post, Ryan's going to post the website, BeverlyCarterFoundation.org, and the safety kit and some other tools that are available. And just encourage everybody to be safe. I mean, personally, you know how much I love you. And for you to take such a test and make it a true testimony that lives every day and that just continues to improve our industry is just so tremendously appreciated. Just so, so much.
No, it's truly my honor. Volunteerism is it's tough, right? Because you have to do it when you have the time. Kind of do it off the side of your desk, and but it's such meaningful work, and I love being able to share.
Well, thank you for joining us. I think this is a very, very good episode. I think our network and everyone listening is going to gain a lot from this. We really want to have you back on. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We can talk sitcoms or whatever you want.
We can talk about the guy that was overcome with emotion and hugged me from behind while I was at a urinal.
Oh God! I love stories like this.
Yeah,
but I got so creepy.
The timing.
He just wanted to hug me right then.
Well, I do too, but I'll wait. But I will say in the next episode, I want the bow tie to come back, and you got to tell Carly I'm loving the beard, Josh.
Oh, the fact that she just got a shout out on this episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thank you, Carl. And seriously, we want to have you back on. And hopefully everyone enjoys this episode. If you have any more questions, you can reach out to coaching@realty1group.com. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We thank you for joining us today on another episode of One on One, a Realty One Group podcast. We are powered by One.U and ask if you have suggestions, recommendations, or questions, please email learning@realty1group.com. And remember, pay close attention to the details, listen to understand, not respond, and always be a resource, not a sales pitch.